What's up, guys? Hello and welcome to Fight Picks with the Pros. My name is Garrett, and today we're going to review 4 fights on the upcoming UFC Fight Night featuring Leon Rocky Edwards versus Belal. Remember the name Muhammad in the main event. This time I'm joined by UFC's Ultimate Fighter Show champion, Chris Holds It Down Holdsworth. Stick around to the end to see our pick for the main event. Let's go.
Introducing Fight Picks with the Pros, brought to you by FanDuel.
All right, guys, the first fight we have up is Dan 50K Ige coming in as the minus 134 favorite versus Gavin Govan Tucker coming in as a plus 10 underdog. Now, Gavin's coming in and replacing Ryan Hall due to an injury, who's that BJJ ace, really well known in the UFC. Chris, I know you're a big fan of him. And now Tucker's coming in to replace this fight. Dan Ige is a great fighter. Whenever I think of him, I always think of that Calvin Kattar fight. That was definitely a fight of the night, a big fight that just happened not too long ago that really gave me a lot of respect for him. He was on a 6-fight win streak before that. What are your thoughts on Dan, Chris?
Man, me and Dan are actually friends. We trained a couple times together, and he's put on a big streak or a big win streak before this. That fight with Calvin, and he's very well rounded, as you can see. He can finish people with ground and pound or standing, and then he's also got a black belt and he can finish people on the ground. So he really has an aggressive style. He likes to come forward and hunt people down, and he's not afraid to go to the ground and mix up the ground and pound with his submission. So I know Gavin is pretty similar. He's really well rounded. 15-1. I didn't know too much about Gavin until I saw one of his last fights, and I was really surprised with his technical ability, just with his strikes and his jiu-jitsu. He was able to put a lot of cool submissions together, and that a lot of some high level stuff that a lot of people don't know. So
yeah, no, very true. And Dan, he's got that 5-inch reach advantage. We'll see if that comes through during the fight. That definitely, if they're standing and striking, that could show. He's got great BJJ as well, but on the other side we got Renzo Gracie. That's where Gavin Tucker's coming from. That's where he's got his black belt. So you could speak to that a little bit, right, Chris?
Yeah, Renzo Gracie.
Renzo Gracie.
Yeah. So that's, as I said, the jiu-jitsu, coming from Renzo Gracie, affiliation, or I'm not sure where he's training, and I think he's from Canada, right?
I'm not sure where Gavin's at. Titans MMA.
Yeah, I'm almost positive because him and Malat are buddies. So I think he's a Canadian guy.
Michael Malat.
So yeah, it's going to be good. I think both of the guys are going to strike it out a little bit. And then one of them is probably going to end up going for a takedown. Once either they're kind of just filling each other out. And it'll be interesting to see who's able to implement their grappling game, because both of them have really good jiu-jitsu and grappling. So we'll see what happens once they hit the mat.
Yeah, both of them are going to come forward. Who's going to control the octagon? That's going to be something to look out for within that first round. And once it gets taken to the ground, who's going to have that grappling advantage? I know they're both extremely confident, and I think Dan might want to keep it up on the feet and lean on his striking. He knows Gavin is really dangerous on the ground, but he also wants that octagon control. So it's going to be exciting. I can see this fight going a lot of ways. They're both really even, like you said. They both have a mix-up of TKOs and submission wins on the record. It's not a lopsided 10 knockouts and 2 submissions. It's pretty even on both sides. 4 TKOs, 6 subs for Gavin Tucker, 3 TKOs, 5 subs for Dan. So this is a hard fight to call. It could go either way. I could see a decision on this for sure. A lot of negating within the standing game and stop takedowns. So if I'm going to give my official fight pick for this fight, I really like Dan Ige. He really earned my respect in that Calvin Kattar fight, and digging into a 6-fight win streak prior to that is extremely impressive. I put Calvin Kattar right up there in the top 5 of boxers within the UFC. He's just super crisp with that jab and boxing. Even though he just got outclassed by Max Holloway, he showed a lot of heart and guts in that fight. So just a really good fighter. So for Dan to stand in there and go toe-to-toe with him for a fight night, it was just definitely exciting to watch. I think he's going to come back and rebound with a good win in this fight. So I'm going Dan Ige by decision win.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty similar. I think Dan has fought the tougher opponents. He's fought the who's who of that division, and he always puts on a great performance. I'm kind of leaning more towards a decision win for Dan, But I can also see him maybe getting like a TKO from standing, hitting him with something big against the cage, and then
I could see that.
finishing him like once it hits the mat. So I'm going. Probably leaning more towards a decision. Yeah, Dan Ige.
You're gonna go decision.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going with decision.
So we're both rolling Dan by decision. So if we jump on to the next fight, we got Ben Rothwell coming in as a -110. This is even money fight right now. First, Philip Monstro Lin. So this is an interesting one. Linz is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. Ben Rothwell is known to throw hands. He's got heavy power in his hands, left hook, right straight. He's 38-13, veteran of the game. Okay, 28 TKOs on his record. And he went through a skid in the UFC where he got 3 decision losses on his record. Some split, some unanimous decision, and it was really kind of a funk he was going through. He got 2 wins, and then his last loss was against Tyson Tybura, who's the shoey expert. And so that was a tough one. He's 2-4 in his last 6 fights, but I'm a huge fan of Ben Rothwell. He's always fun to watch. He's got the funny post-fight interviews. He likes to stand and throw hands, so he's a fan favorite type of guy. He's a guy that is fun to watch. On the other side, you got Philip Linz, who won the 2018 Professional Fighters League tournament, which is no easy feat. And since coming to the UFC, it's been a tough road. Arlovsky lost to Arlovsky, and then recently got KO'd by Bozer, which is no shame. Those are both top high-level guys. And for a big guy, he's more on the grappling side. He's got his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he's really good against the cage. He's great on the ground. Has 4 subs throughout his career. So this is an interesting fight. It's kind of a crossroads for both guys. What do you think about Ben to start it off?
Well, I think Ben is actually a black belt as well.
Oh, nice.
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure. So I think his grappling is going to nullify the other guy. So I'm going with Rothwell. I think the experience and he's been in the game so long, and just when you have that many fights, you've pretty much seen everything. So I think he's going to win this one by probably KO in the second round.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Ben. It's going to be a tough fight. Philip's coming out of the American Top Team, which is a great camp. He's taking things really serious. This is his 3rd fight in the UFC. He doesn't want to go 0-3 in the UFC. If he does, get KO'd like you just predicted on Ben's side, there's definitely a possibility he gets cut immediately after the fight, jumping in the UFC and going 0-3.
Yeah, for sure.
And on Ben's side, being 2-4 in his last 6 fights, he wants to prove that he can still be a contender, and he wants to show up and get a big statement win. So he doesn't want to take of course, no fighter ever wants to take an L, but it's different when you kind of have the contract on the line. I feel like this is kind of a contract fight. So I wanted to pick against you on this one, Chris, but I'm leaning towards Ben as well. I think it is going to be a KO win for Ben. That's going to be my official prediction. And I think it's going to come early in the fight. These are big dudes. I think he's going to be throwing heavy early. So I'm going Ben Rothwell, 1st round KO.
1st round. Yeah. All right.
Okay, you're going
I got
second.
second
I'm going
round.
first. We're different a little bit. All right, we'll jump on to the next fight. We got Angela Overkill Hill coming in as a -355 favorite. Heavy favorite for Angela. Versus Ashley Spider Monkey Yoder coming in as a +270 underdog. Now, this fight was rescheduled. There were some COVID issues and mix-up in between. She originally took the fight on short notice. This is a fight that has been done before. They fought in 2017, and it was the decision win for Angela Hill. So they're definitely familiar with each other. And they both have a choppy record. Angela Hill's 12-9. Yoder on the other side, 8-6.
Wow.
Angela Hill has some close decision losses to Watterson and Claudia Gadelha, which is no shame in that. Those are two of the best
top fighters,
top women's fighters. And the reason she's such a heavy favorite, even coming off of 2 losses in their last 2 fights, is because she really stand and held her own against these fighters. She was striking, landing punches, split decisions. That means one ref, picked Angela to win the fight. So that just shows you how close it was, right? She wasn't getting unanimous decision losses. She doesn't get knocked out. She's right there. I think she's right on the borderline of taking that next step. Then on the other side, you have Ashley Yoder, who's always a game fighter. She's in there, kill or be killed. She's either going to lose or she gets the TKO win, decision win. She's definitely all game. So that's what I like about her. She has a 5-inch reach advantage in this fight, so that's interesting. That could be an advantage coming into it. And again, they know each other, right? They fought before just in 2017. So, Chris, let's get your official opinion. What do you think about Angela Hill specifically, and her coming in as a heavy favorite? What do you think her approach is for this fight?
Man, she's been fighting a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we talk about her quite often, and I'm always seeing her on TV commentating and doing the analysis job now. So, she's keeping her face out there. She's staying relevant. And I think that's what's most important in MMA. Like, as you can tell, like, the record for these girls is not important, right? 12-9 and 8-6. It's because they have a fan base and they're exciting to watch, and they've been around for a while. And Angela's fought some really top opponents. I don't think Yoder has fought as good as opponents as Angela Hill has. So I'm definitely pulling for Angela on this one. I've met her a couple times, and I just like her style. She comes in and she always is down to fight. Short notice, whatever, she'll fight the next weekend. But Yoder's tough. She comes forward, and she's coming from a good camp, Team Quest. And, I've always been a fan of those guys, like old school Randy Couture. You got
Exactly.
Man, there's so many names to name, and but I'm going with Angela Hill in this one. Probably a decision win. I don't know if she'll be able to finish Yoder. I think she's gonna just beat her every round and win a decision.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the call, and that a lot of analysts and critics will see is that Angela Hill is going to piece her up on the feet. It's going to stay standing. She's stronger. She has a better striking game. And over 3 rounds, she has the striking advantage. She stacks it up on the scorecards and gets the decision win. I could see that. On this one, to mix it up, I'm going to go for Ashley Yoder on this side. I'm going to hope that she tires Angela Hill out. She gets some takedowns. She mixes it up, and that she gets the decision win. So to not be completely on the same pick line as you, Chris, I'm going Ashley Yoder by decision.
It's time for the main fight pick of the evening.
So in the main event, we got Leon Edwards versus Belal. Remember the name, Muhammad.
That's great.
So this is an interesting fight. We all know the saga with Leon Edwards. He's been trying to get a fight over and over again. He's been rebooked. 2 fights canceled with Chimaev. He was trying to get something going with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And he just has the worst luck. Of course, COVID hit. He's out there in the UK, so it's hard to get to the Apex Center. Now it's a little bit more relaxed. We can get him out to Fight Island and get a fight going, right? Or now he has the means to get to the Apex Center. It's not as buttoned up as it was in these previous times where things were a little bit more locked down. And since things opened up, the UFC has booked him on 3 different occasions, and 3 different times the fights have been called off. So 3 different camps that he preps for, and then the fight gets called off. So he has to be extremely frustrated. And this last one that was called off, Khamzat Chimaev is still, from his previous COVID experience, is seeing some backlash from that and still feeling the symptoms. So decided that he hasn't been able to train, had to call it off for the second time. So this is interesting. Belal just came off a great win. He's a great fighter, 18-3, 4 TKOs, 1 sub, a bit of a decision machine, but he's beat guys like Diego Lima. He's got a lot of hype behind him. A lot of people think that he's really underestimated. Other side, we got Leon Edwards, who's on a great win streak, finally got a fight booked, hasn't fought since April 2019, but he's one of the best in the game. So how do you break down this fight? First, tell me what you think about Leon Edwards over the past couple of years and his misfortune as of late, and him as a fighter.
Yeah, like with fighters, you never know like when you're gonna be healthy and when you're gonna be able to put a string of fights together.
Yeah.
Like as you can tell, like Cody, he hasn't fought in a year, from medical stuff or health reasons, and you just never know. That's why health is so important as a fighter, because we use our bodies to make money. Like if our bodies are not working properly, or we're sick and we can't perform at our peak, we're not going to be making money. So it sucks to see when fighters are with that much potential or that close to the belt that have to sit out that long, because now you're kind of out of the mix. Other people are fighting and moving up in ranks, and you're just sitting back wishing you can fight, but you can't. So it's pretty depressing as a fighter as well, like not being able to perform. Like your whole life is revolved around fighting, and when you're not able to fight, it's just a piece of life is missing, right? So I'm excited to see Leon fight again. I think he kind of went under the radar. He put a lot of wins together, but he wasn't really getting pumped by the UFC media machine. So, like a lot of people don't know him or haven't seen too many of his fights, even though he's, put almost 8-fight win streak together. He fought the champ, Usman. So it's like now I think he's got a little bit more clout and, a little bit more push. So, I'm excited to see him back, and I think he's gonna win this fight versus Belal. Muhammad's a good guy though. He put together a bunch of wins, and we can talk about him. He's training with Rufus, right? Yeah, Rufus Sport.
Yeah, he's won the last 8 to 9 fights. He's a winner. He's one of those guys. Yeah. The guys who always they fill the stats sheet. Not necessarily. He's not a guy that's gonna put you away. He throws these big looping overhand rights and kind of these wild strikes.
Yeah.
But he's accurate, and he's got a ton of stamina, and he stays in there, and he's got great technique, and he comes out on top. Really similar. I see that in both guys, is that they're just, they're winners, and it's just a good timing from them to meet because they're both on top of their game. 8-fight win streak.
Same record, 18-3.
Yeah, both 18-3. Both similar, 6 TKOs, 3 subs for Edwards, 4 TKOs, 1 sub for Muhammad. And these guys are both super savvy. It's the right timing for sure. Yeah, I agree with you on Leon Edwards. He's not the type of guy who's, when he's getting the wins, he's not throwing the big call outs. I remember one of his fights were like, who would you like to fight next? And, he gives, I hate to see these answers. He's like, whoever the UFC wants me to fight, whatever they think. I'm a big fan of knowing who you want to fight, throwing it out there. Even if you don't get that fight, you just calling out someone, it forces that guy to respond. It gets you on the radar that you want to fight again, and it creates this good hype around your name. Media will pick that up. Leon Edwards called out Stephen Thompson. It's a media story. But if you say, I'm not really sure, whatever the UFC thinks, I'm a fan, I'm just here to serve the company, no one talks about you after that. You kind of just go, like you said, you go under the radar, and then you get booked as the UFC sees fit. So I really hope they take this main event slot as a time for either one of them to make a big call out. A lot of people, me really digging in this fight. I'm a fan of Leon Edwards, so I really know a bit more of his background. On Muhammad, I dug in a bit more. A lot of analysts like him as the dog in this fight. He's coming in as the underdog, but he's riding a lot of momentum, huge confidence. He's really trying to build up his own brand. And like I mentioned, Fighters Not Talk Enough, he's just started his own podcast. He's interviewing other fighters. He's all about trying to get himself out there more. So kudos to Muhammad on that side. Leon Edwards is definitely the shyer guy. I'm leaning towards Leon Edwards on this fight, definitely. I'll give my official pick in a second. But for you, Chris, tell me how ultimately you see this fight playing out. You can predict it, and then let me hear your fight pick.
Yeah, I think they're going to feel each other outstanding. Kind of mix it up a little bit. And, once it starts going into the later rounds, I think Leon's going to start picking him apart, with his hands, and he's going to land some good shots. And I see him finishing Muhammad probably in like the 3rd round.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think Leon Edwards, his boxing and timing, especially with that left-hand shot, is one of the most underestimated in the UFC. He always sneaks it in. He gets this to where like you think he's throwing the left, and it's almost like half thrown, and he throws like this half-cocked left hand that lands on the button. He's got the timing down. So, Muhammad is a hard guy to finish, so that's definitely a bold call to make. But I don't think Muhammad has faced the level of competition of a Leon Edwards. Edwards' last loss was to Kamaru Usman, the current welterweight champ. And he went on an 8-fight win streak since then. I think he's hungry. Some people might say there's some ring rust there, but I don't think so. I think he's going to come in hungry, ready to get the win. I think he's going to put on a great performance. And I have to agree with you, Chris. I like that pick. I think he's going to piece him up. It's going to be pretty toe-to-toe in the beginning. He's going to piece him up. It's going to weigh on him. Muhammad's going to eventually get taken out in the 3rd round via TKO finish. The ref is going to stop it. And it's going to be a close fight until then, but I think the strikes are going to pile up. So I'm going Leon Edwards in this fight via 3rd round TKO. You're going Leon Edwards via 3rd round TKO. Maybe I'll switch it up. Maybe I'll push it. This is a 5-round fight in the main event. I'll go 4th round TKO for Leon. Just push it that round. Yeah. So when we see the finish that happens either 3rd or 4th, we'll see who really called it. So I'll go Leon Edwards, 4th round TKO. That's my main event pick. Chris is going 3rd round. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Fight Tips with the Pros. I'm Garrett. This is Chris. We'll see you next time. Let's go.